What can be, unburdened by what has been.
What can be, unburdened by what has been.
What can be, unburdened by what has been. What can be, unburdened by what has been.
What we can see, what we believe can be, unburdened by what has been.
What can be, unburdened by what has been. What can be, unburdened by what has been.
What can be, unburdened by what has been.
Who we can be, unburdened by who we have been. What can be, unburdened by what has been.
Where we can be, unburdened by where we have been, and unburdened by where we are right now.
I've read Marx. I've read Engels. I've read Das Kapital.
The world is run by Trotskyists.
Hardcore Trotskyists.
How great an anti-American Marxist!
They're controlled by Trotskyists, as you put it, and these are the most evil, sick human beings on the face of the planet.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree? You exist in the context of all in which you live and what came before you.
Yeah, you exist in the context of which all that came before you. Shockingly dialectical statement, I must say.
That was well done. I like it.
Well, yes, absolutely.
And so that's why the left is now coconut pilled. We all, as leftists, we are all 100% behind Kamala. Congratulations to the first female
comrade
female
Kamala. Let's just start using the terminology correct, I believe. Thank you.
Supposedly her dad was a Marxist professor. Is that true? Is that correct?
Sort of. So basically her dad was from Jamaica and he was kind of like this Keynesian influenced by Marx. And from what I understand, her parents divorced when she was fairly young and he hasn't been in her life. And to his everlasting credit, he's pretty much disowned her.
Jeez, harsh. That's where the coconut thing comes from. It's basically like, if you guys have heard the term, you think you just fell off a turnip truck.
Yeah,
that's basically what it is. It's like, no. Like there's you are standing on the shoulders of like those that came before you.
Sounds
sort of thing,
good.
Right.
All right.
And shockingly, one of the more profound things she's ever said.
That was pretty good. Yeah, I guess.
Anyway, you're listening to the Left Opposition podcast with we've got Chris, Doug, Matthew, and Joe. It's a full house today. Welcome everybody.
Yeah, back at full strength, baby.
We are back at it. We've got a hell of a program tonight. On the program tonight, we've got what are we talking about? We got like Trump nearly gets his head blown off.
A genocide, unfortunately, is still happening. That is true.
We never ever stop talking about Gaza, of course.
No, and I know a genocide's a heavy topic, so we're going to lighten the mood a little bit. I don't know if anyone heard, but there's a new political party on the street, and we're not going to reveal the name, folks. You're going to have to stay on a little bit longer. No, but there is a new communist, and I'm using the term loosely, party out there, everyone. So let's get ready, folks. Strap on, strap in, everyone. Whatever it is, get ready, because that's going to be awful. So there we go. But in the news recently, apparently Joe Biden is not going to be running anymore. I don't think anyone was really thinking he was going to pull it off at all, or maybe even live as long as he thought. I mean, how long does this guy have left to live? Honestly, couple of years at this point, but he's deteriorating quickly. So
Biden,
he's him and
optimistic 2027.
He's definitely at sundowning,
right?
Where it's like, that you can survive, like you can be attached to machines and have people bring you stuff,
right?
But
Terry Schiavo did, that did happen. Yeah. Same thing. She was alive for a while.
She
I haven't
actually
heard that name in a long
in
time. Wow.
2004.
Yeah. I know we've gone back that far, but I mean, they purposely kept him away, I think, from any camera. They tried to explain, he's got a stuttering problem, or, he can't formulate sentences well, but we didn't want to do a primary because that might weaken him. And then finally, when that debate happened and 50 million people saw that debate, and we heard weeks and weeks of making things up. He was jet lagged. He was doing something. He had a cold.
Yeah, and it was repeated at all these press conferences and events that he was doing. And from the Democrat perspective, if they had someone who was not senile and demented there, the talk of that debate would have been like essentially how Trump is lying about everything.
Right.
Yeah, ironically, Fox News were the ones reporting for a while how like senile and demented Biden was, and everyone could see, like we can see it. He doesn't know where he is. He can't follow the instructions of walk up to this podium, look at the camera, don't sniff anyone's hair.
Yep. 4 more years.
He couldn't follow
End
it.
sentence. He was reading the
God.
notes he wasn't supposed to say.
And and the debate, we live streamed it last time, and
the
second he opened his mouth, we're like, oh no, like that cute little monkey.
We were getting mad because CNN can't get a good audio. I was so confused. I thought CNN messed up. I'm like, they can't even do a right microphone for this guy. And then you realize eventually, oh wait, no, it's not. It's not CNN. It's the guy speaking into a microphone who just kind of talk like this. It was a bad debate. It was a bad debate, Right. Yeah, but this is different, dude. Oh my God. And then he went and then he did that NATO press conference and he introduced President Putin and then he corrected himself on that.
And then he was going to reform the Japanese empire. He was going to bring Korea and Japan back together.
That was pretty good. And then he brought up, but you think I would have picked Vice President Trump? I mean, this is the time he was supposed to have it together, and he didn't. Yeah. And, I think, behind the scenes, we saw that George Clooney, a huge mega donor, gave him $23 million. He had met with Obama, had talked to him, said he had to drop out. Pelosi and all these other people said you got to drop out. And then the saddest thing of all, and I know there's some Bernie fans do listen here and some Squad fans and stuff, but it was Bernie, it was Biden. It was Bernie and the Squad defending him. Yep. AOC up until 48 hours ago was defending him. And then, way to debase yourself for nothing.
Yeah, she did that 1 hour long Instagram live video where she went through every single point about why it's good and cool that Biden stays in the race. He is the nominee. There's nothing you fuckers can do about it.
Right.
Yeah.
And then 48 hours later, he shits himself and then just okay, no, he's out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what was really incredible about it is that they didn't. Okay, so first of all, they didn't have to do that.
No.
If the argument was we should stay out of the conversation, I'm yeah, fine, because they're always going to try to blame the left and whatever. So, but the fact that they were going hard for Biden, and then it seemed like it was because they got him to rattle off a list of progressive stuff he was going to do in his second term. And then it was what are you doing? You think that getting this list with no make him do it now. Do this now, and we'll come out and support for it.
No, you'd win the election if you just forgave student debt. Something, anything. Don't wait till your second term.
Yeah, Joe, I believe the term you were using was called leverage, I believe, right? Leverage. You use your leverage, just like how, remember when Bernie went and endorsed Biden right off the bat. He didn't get, he might be Secretary of Labor. Nope. He might get a committee appointment. Nope. They keep screwing these people over and they keep trying. You're in an abusive relationship. I want to hug these people and be it's not you, it's them. But you're going
they're
along
part
with
of the problem.
I know.
Yeah. That way
you need to leave the Democrats
though.
if you really believe this.
It's been that way as far back. Been that way as far back as any of us can remember. You remember the Rainbow Coalition? What happened to that?
Didn't work out for them. Nope. No.
I mean, we've talked about popular fronts, right? This is kind of this is the closest thing I think the U.S. has to a popular front is if we just get some socialists in with the Democrats, the lesser of two evils, we could maybe push them left. And we know historically, we mentioned this last time when we talked about the French elections, popular fronts do not have a good history, to quote Doug. And this is where they always lead, is they always lead to the betrayal of the working class. We even see that with the popular front in France right now. They're already making concessions and bargaining about who to appoint as into leadership, right? They're gonna capitulate and concede to the capitalists, and it's just going to be at best business as usual, which is nothing but exploitation, imperialism, poverty, in just the increasing underlying contradictions.
I mean, also, like in countries like France, like historically, when they've had popular fronts, like in 81 with Mitterrand, the Communist Party had like 4 members in government. Even though it's like a revisionist sellout, they actually did have like positions there in the government. So they probably had, you know, they were able to pass some minor reforms and whatnot. Here, it's like, you're right, it's the closest, but none of these people have any leverage to do anything. They're just lapdogs and sheepdogs.
Yeah.
You know, they're meant to corral any discontent back into the Democratic Party, and they're meant to put on that fig leaf that shows, hey, look, we got socialists or left liberals here, so we're a party of the people too.
Yeah.
You know,
right.
that's what their function is.
Yeah.
Now, whether they believe that or not, that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
No, I mean, even in the last poll, Biden right now has a 56% unfavorability poll right now. Like, and I think, was it like 83% of all Democrats supported switching, getting rid of him. Like,
yeah,
this was very clear. Like the ruling, like, so the capitalists that, you know, there's like, people think there's, you know, the billionaires of one side better than the billionaires on the other. But the, you know, the liberal billionaires who owned the Democrats, they lost faith in Biden. They rigged it so that Bernie would lose because they didn't want that. And now those people have lost all confidence that Biden can actually do it because they know Trump will bring instability to them because the capitalists like things nice and smooth and easy and nice going and everything, where Trump's too erratic for that. But I mean, they lost faith, and now they're going to go with someone who's probably going to be able to form a sentence, you know, or at least articulate ideas in a coherent way.
Yeah.
And that's the bar we're at. That's how low the bar is. But yeah.
This is how excited the left is because Kamala broke every fundraising record in like 24 hours. It's fucking crazy. Like there's this huge wave of relief amongst the so-called left in the States. It's like, oh, finally.
Yeah.
And also a lot of, you know, business interests and more like anti-Trump Republicans, which include people like Dick Cheney.
Yeah.
You know, he's put out like videos about how Donald Trump is like the greatest threat to America, which is kind of funny if you are old enough to know about Dick Cheney back in the aughts.
You young kids, you missed out on that. All right. It was, those are some dark days. Actually, to be honest, kids, those were the great days. We thought it was us millennials. We thought it was the worst days. I'd give anything to have Dick Cheney as VP/president again.
We all saw the George W. Bush, his Hitler memes, right? I'm old enough to remember.
Those days.
I hated Bush, but I actually hated those memes because, yeah, if he was Hitler, we would have all been shot.
I distinctly remember the John Kerry campaign of like, this is the most important election in our lifetimes because it was a year after the Iraq War. And it's like, this is like, it's going to hell. We are so fucked if we don't get John Kerry and they're the most Aaron Sorkinist fucking candidate they could have come up with was a Vietnam War veteran.
Reporting for duty.
It's the same fucking shit again, right? At the height of Black Lives Matter and the George Floyd uprising, Biden nominates a black cop as his VP. And now the very same people who marched and got tear gassed by the National Guard are going to be lining up to vote for Kamala because betrayal is inherent in reform and petty bourgeois like ideologies. It's extremely disappointing and sickening to see.
No, I know. And now the new question is, who's she going to pick for a VP? That's a big thing going on. And one name that's been floated around, I think is it Josh Shapiro? I think he's governor of Pennsylvania, I believe. If any of you have been protesting the genocide going on in Gaza, well, just let you know, he thinks that you might be anti-Semitic and maybe even being paid by Hamas. Like this is like when the Democrats nominated Tim Kaine to be Hillary's VP and he was anti-choice. Like they could snatch defeat from the jaws of victory so well, it's a joke. Like just pick some, this isn't hard. Like Trump is easily the most beatable candidate you can get. The polls are reflecting it that Harris is already beating him because she's not Trump. That's all. Just say something. Yeah, that's it. Small things.
I mean, that's what happened in 2020. It was like Biden was still senile then, not as bad.
Right.
It's going to be, if you want my complete speculation, it's going to be a white guy she's going to pick as her.
I'm thinking that too.
As her VP, because like this country will never allow a white woman to become president. I think it's kind of funny. It's like you got to have like a woman of color, and then back to the fellas, and then there's like these.
The joke would be if like she picked Buttigieg because his father was actually a scholar of Gramsci.
Oh yeah.
And the joke I saw about like, the first American presidential ticket of 2 children of Marxists who were disowned by their parents.
That's great.
I don't actually think Papa Buttigieg disowned his idiot son, but I want to imagine.
Yeah. My God, the bar is that low.
I can totally see Buttigieg being the pick. He is about as milk toast as it gets. He's got all of Obama's platitudes, but like none of the charm.
Right.
If you go back and watch and listen to what Obama says in his speeches, there is no substance. It's incredible.
No, he's a vacuous windbag.
Amazing.
Right. Great speeches
we're
that
all like,
meant
oh my
nothing.
God, yes.
It's change we can believe in.
America.
We're not red state, white state, America. It was like really dumb. I'm like, who's impressed by this?
Yeah.
It's Aaron
empty
Sorkin's
sloganeering. Yeah.
Practical idealism. Do you guys remember that from The West Wing? That was the slogan.
Right.
That was the Democrats' groans all around.
Yeah, those are my liberal days when that show was on.
Aaron Sorkin.
Oh God. Yeah, he penned. He had an article out recently. He thought who he thought they should have nominated? Mitt goddamn Romney. I swear they want to lose every election. Like, and they were like, I think their article was like, is he pro-choice? No. What is wrong with the the basic tasks of the bourgeois revolution are like letting women control their bodies. And the liberals can't even do that right. Like, my God, stop picking anti-choice people on your ticket. Oh my God, keep shifting. This is a joke.
I think they're going to go with someone like one of these senators or governors from a swing state. And it probably will be a white guy, but like, it could, like, I could see like JB Pritzker being a good choice, so I'm sure they won't go with him. It'll be like Mark Kelly or fucking Andy Bashir might be a slightly better choice, but like, they would go with like Josh Shapiro or some shit where they're just going to be like, Kamala's like maybe slightly more amenable to a ceasefire than Biden, and then just be like, now here's a Biden. Here's just a young Biden. Like,
I don't know if you guys knew this. Obama officially has not endorsed Kamala yet.
Now that is interesting. Yes, he's been notoriously silent on this issue. So I wonder. Some backroom stuff.
Rumor has it, because like again, it was probably Obama that got Biden to like kind of step aside.
Yeah,
right. As he does. Like the only time he interferes in politics is to like
act as a scab, which is when Black Lives Matter. Remember a lot of basketball players were going to go on strike during the George Floyd protests, and what did he do? Talk to all of them and goes, get back to work.
Don't shut up.
He's a strike breaker. Yeah. Way to go, Obama.
Yeah, there was, of course.
Count your millions with your Netflix money and your little mansion on Nantucket Island there.
It was a single night of phone calls that he single-handedly tanked the Bernie campaign. Biden was 5th place in like every state and somehow came out ahead in South Carolina, and everyone was like, oh, that's it. That's the nominee.
Yeah.
Bernie was going to steamroll these guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
And oh God, I wish there was a drug that could make me feel what I felt when Bernie was winning like Nevada, and like 3rd state in a row that he just destroyed. And
all the right wing of the party was just losing it. They were all going nuts. All the crap they tried doing, and now finally they circled the wagons, pulled some stuff, and Liz Warren stayed in to draw away some of the progressive voter, and that's it, because the Democratic Party will never go to the left. They will fight and rake anything to do it.
So some sources that I read on Twitter. Now take this with a grain of salt, but like there's hot gossip from Democratic insiders that Obama is actually super pissed. So again, he was pulling the strings to get Biden to drop out. And that was part of that George Clooney op-ed that he wrote a couple of weeks ago. What he didn't expect was Biden immediately endorsed Harris over the party favorite was, as you mentioned, Joe, Mark Kelly, former astronaut and senator from Arizona. So I think that'll be a logical VP pick. I have no idea if it's true, but it's weird Obama like hasn't endorsed Kamala yet. And like I think it's funny that this could be seen as like one last fuck you for ousting him.
I think he probably will just wait till the convention, which is in 2 weeks.
In Chicago. That sounds about right. Yeah, about 2 weeks or so.
Has anyone, like, I haven't followed super closely, but has there been anyone who's like tried to challenge Harris? I don't think I've seen anybody.
I haven't. No.
I think it's pretty much going to be a lock.
There's no way
that would be my prediction.
There's no way they'll do an open convention. The Democrat,
I didn't think so.
Democrat Party hates democracy.
Oh, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, and then there's that.
Just like the Republican Party hates republics.
No, I mean, there was that whole thing. Now you get some people who were like, well, what about all the millions of primary voters? And we have to point out there were no primary elections in 2 states. In Florida and North Carolina, they didn't bother having elections for primaries. They wanted this to be a coronation ceremony. And now they screwed up. They realized they made a mistake, and now they're trying to backpedal. But one thing I'm surprised too, it's almost like the Republicans had no idea this was coming. Like, they have nothing ready.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Biden's close to death, for God's sakes. Like, you think they'd have like something, but all they keep making fun of. And look, Harris is terrible on her own accord, but I'm really sick of the misogyny of like they're attacking her for being a woman or being a woman of color. Like, now they're showing the true colors. Like,
I mean, they did this with Obama. It's like we all hate Obama, but they were putting him like nooses and like making him like, these racist caricatures. We're not for that.
Right.
No,
It's like actual reasons to oppose Obama and Harris that have nothing to do with their skin color.
No, imagine that. We oppose bourgeois politicians on their, things like their policy and their actions and their voting record. But we
hate you for your actions, not for what you are. That's what we're here for, But
like, I hate you for the content of your character.
Oh, good. We got a slogan for tonight. Good. Oh my God. But I mean, some of this vile, like, sexist stuff coming out against Kamala Harris and stuff. So, and also like, because she doesn't have kids, they don't think she should have any, like, who was that lunatic Alex Jones at Laura Loomer? It's like, well, she made this like really disgusting statement about like, well, she had all these abortions with no proof and that she can't have kids and people who don't have kids shouldn't be able to run in office. And it's like just this really vile crap.
Every other woman for how many decades have been accused of, when they get pregnant, you shouldn't be at the office, you should be at home. Now they're arguing the reverse.
Yes.
I mean, come on.
Yeah. I know.
Right. The game's up. Okay. You have whole other reasons for saying these things, and it has nothing to do with that issue one way or the other.
My theory is that Kamala spent her career locking up black people for like weed and truancy and like fucking dumb shit and breaking apart black families, and the Republicans are actually like really into that, so they can't attack her on that.
No,
so they got to find dumb ways to go after her, because like you can't attack her for being not conservative enough, because like that's all these people are. Again, it's the ratcheting effect, right? Like it's just 2006 era Republicans that are in the Democratic Party now, so you can't like they actually like all the shit that we hate Kamala for. Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so they have nothing to go on other than like, oh, she's got a weird laugh.
Right. I mean, she does. But,
Trump is the wild card there, though. He's been positioning himself as working class left, strangely enough, in some of his statements. And I could imagine him attacking her for exactly that reason, quite cynically, whereas the old guard Republicans couldn't.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe that actually feels a little more like 2016 Trump.
It's insanely funny that some of them have even tried like, oh, well, Trump's gonna lock up the black vote now because he's a convicted felon.
Oh my yeah.
It's like people don't fucking hear themselves anymore.
Whether he's gonna lock up the black vote, but in another way, of course.
Right. Like he's like Trump's they're trying to call it like lying Kamala Harris, like lying about what?
Laughing Kamala.
Yeah, like that's the best you got.
Like
really?
She's having a good time.
The equivalent of you're a duty head. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, they really are like stunned. They have nothing on, like, really, like Fox News, you guys didn't have anything like ready to go to attack him. Like, I get if like Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, they can attack California all day long and everything, but they have nothing for her, and it's just really astonishing that they don't. But I don't know, it just looks bad for the Republicans right now.
It's team sports and it's vibes, and that seems to be what most people vote on these days.
Yeah, exactly.
All the more reason to not take this election super seriously.
Oh my God.
Instead, again, as Marxists, you should be focusing on educating yourself and talking to your family, your neighbors, your coworkers,
organizing a union where you're at, or in my case, trying to make your union great again. There you go. Like my union went on a legal strike in 1970, and
learn your union's history.
Yeah.
So in terms of like the fighting between the Democrats and Republicans that is like has no substance, there's actually a great Trotsky quote from his little known were the Balkan Wars. And he says the more unprincipled the ruling parties and the more elusive the actual differences between their practical programs, the fiercer is the struggle between them, for this is a naked struggle for loot, for possession of the public trough. The most elementary requirements of government will be fulfilled in more or less the same way, regardless of whichever group is in power at a given moment.
Who is this guy again? What's his name?
He was in league with Hitler at one point.
The hand in glove guy.
Yes.
Wow. I mean, besides that, I mean, that quote's kind of cool, but I don't know. I mean, he's I think it was the term Judeo-Bolshevik. I think Candace Owens has been saying that on Jimmy Dore's show that we should, we'll get around to talking about that. But wow, that Trotsky guy, not bad for a fascist. Jesus. Oh my God. Wow. But yeah, so folks, please do whatever it said. Read your contract, please. Get involved with the union. Do something great. Just don't campaign for Democrats. Please do not do that. All right.
Yeah, that's really like, I don't know. People really need to start looking at people really need to start understanding this, that like the Democratic Party is not getting you anywhere.
Right.
And it's really just, all these things people say to you where they're like, well, the lesser evil, or the one that's closest to what you want, or the bus that gets you the closer to your destination or whatever. It's like, no, but it's not any of those. That's the problem. And it's really frustrating because I think people don't, and I guess I don't, on the most molecular level, know exactly how to go about it, but we need our own party.
Yes, we do. All right.
Yeah, except when you complain that the bus isn't going in the direction that you want, and then you try and take control and steer the bus, then the Democrats shoot the tires out and then yell at you because the bus isn't going anywhere.
And then on the bus ride, the Democrats committed genocide. It's weird. It's a weird bus how they do things there.
You're stuck on the trolley, and the trolley's about to run a bunch of people over. So
any lever you pull kills people.
Kills everyone.
So,
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So I know I'm not sure it's been a week or 2 weeks, but Trump almost got assassinated, and you would have and it's completely been forgotten too.
You would think the entire world would have collectively shit themselves that like in my lifetime a president nearly has been assassinated.
Yeah,
that's crazy. And I was I know I was scrolling like crazy, and I need to know more. What the fuck?
Yeah,
what is happening?
I mean, there's not much to say. They haven't.
They
don't even know why the guy did it.
No, it turned out into a complete wet fart. As soon as it was revealed that the guy was a registered Republican, the entire narrative fell apart.
Right. And then they found a $15 donation, to something for Joe Biden.
Yeah, basically the cost of lunch he gave to Joe Biden.
Right. So yeah, very politically
before inflation, of course.
Yeah.
Politically very confused individual. He was 20 years old. He was Googling pictures. He was Googling pictures of Biden and Trump.
Yeah.
I'm I gotta figure out what these guys look like.
No, seriously. I mean, for our international viewers, by chance, we have a lot of mass shootings in this country. And I think the only thing I can really walk away with this whole thing is remember the Las Vegas shooter? It was at a country show in Las Vegas. I think he killed 66 people, wounded another 100.
500, I think.
500.
Yeah,
and I mean,
crazy.
the thing is, to this day, and that was how many, 4 or 5 years ago? We don't know the motive. There was just no, I think this kid just had, I think he was just unseen. No one noticed him. They said he was bullied at school. Then the school was like, oh, no, he was never bullied. But I think that's the school just covering their ass. I mean, I got bullied in junior high. I didn't report it. You wouldn't have known it. But I think this kid just had nothing going on. And it just so happened, if Biden was there, he would have taken the shot at Biden. In my opinion, he just wanted to be known for doing something.
I think, I think maybe he had suicidal ideations. He clearly had no escape plan. He had no plan other than shoot at whichever president happens to come through his town.
Right. And he must have seen the snipers around the he knew that this was it. And, I feel bad that this kid felt that this was the only way he could be. I feel bad for him. He's dead. His parents are going to, and unfortunately, and this is where this Trotsky article, why we oppose individual acts of terrorism. If this actually worked and we could have a social, then I think Trotsky says then everyone should get Browning automatic rifles and make bomb and do it that way, because we don't need study groups. We don't need union meetings. Why bother reading theory? I'll just give you a gun. And if that's all it took, then we wouldn't be doing this podcast or stream. There's no shortcuts.
Trotsky can't, he was obviously, from the Russian Empire. So he knew about the Narodniks and the People's Will, who assassinated the Tsar in 1881. They succeeded. They killed the head of the government. And according to their theory, the whole structure would collapse, the people would rise up, and they'd have socialism. What happened instead? They were all arrested. The state clamped down and
brutally
the system endured. And this wasn't the only time some major figure had been assassinated by, leftists. There were like various kings and prime ministers throughout Europe in like the late 19th century, early 20th century who were assassinated. William McKinley was assassinated. They just replaced them because it's really just Lenin called them liberals with bombs because
and honestly,
they just want to pressure and everything, and ultimately it doesn't work.
Even during elections, if well, you vote for Democrats to prevent Trump from getting into office. Okay, well, like, what about the next guy? Because they're just going to replace because the next guy is probably going to be JD Vance and JD Vance,
charisma.
Who's just going to appoint more like, I don't know, 18-year-olds to the Supreme Court so they can live to be 1,000. Like this, like you just knock one down and more rise up, and we just keep. This is like, man, I've been seeing these arguments on like Reddit and Facebook on what is theory? What is the point of theory? And it's the point of theory is like these arguments are 150 years old, right? People like us have been having these exact same discussions with liberals and other folks, trying to build something better, and we just keep going in circles. And fuck, man, like, what's it gonna take to get you to actually pick up a book?
Right.
You can't just vote out the orange.
We don't want to be tripping over the same rock over and over. It's already been like thought out. These things have happened. So this kid, he's dead now. Got nothing. What happened? No, nothing. I don't, like I said, this is just some kid trying to do it. And I think Trump hit his poll, whatever. He went up in the poll. I don't think he went up at all. Like, this is his high watermark. I mean, but right. Kamala Harris raised more money than Trump did after he got shot. That is nuts. To show you.
Actually,
really.
I'm kind of curious. So definitely among his base, if they're completely energized. If you saw the RNC, they were all wearing the stupid thing on their ears. There's like a Regina George moment. And obviously he's got that picture that's him with the flag in the background with the clenched fist. That's going to energize his base. But people on the fence, I'm curious, what has been the polls? What are they saying?
The polls have not, they didn't, like I said, amongst his base, it went up a little bit, but I mean, there was Robert Evans, he does the podcast Behind the Bastards. He was there with a few people to go to the RNC. And one thing he mentioned there, he was like, how little, I mean, this was days after. He goes, how little it was, maybe a week, how little it was actually talked about. It was on some shirts and stuff, but even amongst all the people, they didn't really even bring it up at all. He goes, I was legitimately surprised how little this was actually discussed amongst the Republicans. It's already been forgotten, because if it had been imagine if it was like a migrant, or if it was like a trans person. Oh, look, see, but it was just some 20-year-old kid who looked like McLovin, kind of who just had nothing going on and just did, there's no story. There's no manifesto. They couldn't do anything with it. So there it went, but sad. Really, nothing came out of it, and the kid's dead, and Trump's still here, and here we go. We got a few more months for this election.
If anything, probably, his polling remained the same, but Kamala probably got a huge boost after Biden dropped out, so it's probably going to swing. I'm actually probably leaning more towards Kamala might actually pull this off and win the election, provided she doesn't fucking do anything incredibly and profoundly stupid. Then again. It's gonna be a long 4 months.
I mean, it depends how she pulls off her propaganda among ordinary people, but also I think a lot of the business class, these really wealthy people who want the U.S. to maintain their alliances and trade and stuff, they're rallying behind her. Where a lot of them are a little more apprehensive about Trump because he's kind of put the possibility out there that he might get the U.S. out of NATO or something like that.
Right.
They don't like that.
Right.
I mean, they don't care about deporting immigrants or anything like that, but they don't want anything that would shake up the U.S. position. And it is. I'm curious too. It's also how Trump is going to play, among ordinary people, who are going to go to the polls. I mean, he was president freaking 4 years ago. It wasn't forever ago, and his record wasn't that good. And Harris could at least claim even though it's like a lie, that, oh, it's like, this is a new start, for everybody, because I'm not Biden, even though she was, approving everything and whatnot. But
right. I don't think there's any new policy she's going to trot out or anything. I mean, behind the scenes, she did kind of come out against minorly about what's going on in Gaza, a statement, but and she didn't meet with Netanyahu when he came to town, which was interesting. But she didn't go to the speech, but she's meeting with him today. So, but if she goes and arrests Netanyahu, maybe I'll become a K-High fan. All right. If she goes up and she gets him arrested right on camera, you might see Chris with a K-High shirt on. That's it. Only time you do it. So she has 48 hours to arrest this man in the United. I want Interpol there. Yeah. I want the SWAT. God. I want to see flashbangs. So, Kamala, you want my vote? Arrest Netanyahu.
Oh my God! If she had even the slightest sense of demagoguery, she could like shake his hand and then pull out the cuffs and just cuff him right there.
Okay, that'd be good. All right, so there we go. To win the Left Opposition Podcast nomination, she has 48 hours to arrest. Like I said, I want the handshake. Boom. Book him, Dano.
Yeah, that's what I want to see. I will absolutely join the currently oddly silent K-Hive.
There we go. All right. So there we go. All right. So speaking of genocides, I don't know, this Benjamin Netanyahu came to town.
Got to work on your segues, man.
I am trying to do two things at once, which is called, I know. Well, it was Netanyahu, but there we go. Oh my God. So Bibi spoke. John Fetterman wore a suit for this. That's nice. He might as well. Now I guess we finally got
a suit on him.
Yeah. Roll out the red carpet for that guy. Lord.
Yeah, I'll just read out what I kind of wrote on this. And then we can go from there. So they always know when America is distracted, because Israel is not even pretending that the ultrasounds are like Hamas death machines. IDF soldiers, they're posing with canes, they're posing with like women's underwear, smashing everything. There's headless, limbless children are being pulled out of layers of rubble every single day, and recent estimates are close to 186,000 people dead. And that was only a few weeks ago, so no doubt it's actually broken like 200,000 people dead in Gaza like right now, which is like 10% of the population, while the rest face mass famine, starvation, absolutely zero medicine or anything like that. I don't know if the news cycle just straight up forgot about it. Like finally we got something to talk about other than Israel, because of like all the craziness that's going on with American election cycle right now. But only just was it last night? It was last night. Netanyahu gave a speech.
Yeah, it was last night.
Congress. Yeah. I didn't catch it. I don't think it's really worth my time. And again, I know we hate Democrats on here, but I really think Rashida Tlaib deserves a little bit of a shout out. She wore a keffiyeh and
party.
No, exactly.
Yeah,
we need to win her.
She also voted to fund the IDF, but
she can't join our party with that vote. Unfortunately, she needs to leave. I don't know where she's going, but leave the Democrats. All right,
I'll give her the symbolism, but she's still just as bad as the rest of them.
Right.
I didn't know that she was like one of the few.
She's voted to fund the IDF in the past.
Shit.
Yep.
Wow.
Awkward.
But like I said, the minute she kind of just went, maybe we shouldn't. Oh, you're an anti-Semite. Yeah, that's,
anyway,
that's,
this tells you everything you need to know about the Democratic Party. Like she was the only one that had that attended and had showed any sort of like resistance. The entire party, including the squad, have abandoned her completely and continually voting for funding for Israel. Just like when the Dems threw Ilhan Omar under the bus for her mild criticism of AIPAC, right? There is no apparatus within the party that defends isolated voices against injustice. And then I know we sound like a broken record, but like the Democrats are not coming to save you. They are capitalist, imperialist, Zionist scumbags. And it really reminds me when we talked about this before, when Canadian Parliament gave a standing ovation to a Nazi, only to realize he was a Nazi afterwards. But there is no plausible deniability here. History will absolutely judge these parties and their members as traitors to the working class. The only force on earth that can liberate us is ourselves, the working class. And indeed, we are seeing the most radical elements of the working class in the form of student encampments not too long ago. I'm not sure if there is any that are still going, but again, a heartfelt salute and complete solidarity to the thousands of protesters descended on Washington for Netanyahu's visit.
Well, I have a retort to that, Aaron. Our vice president also made a statement, and I will read her statement, and please Show some respect to our future president here. Yesterday at Union Station in Washington, D.C., we saw despicable acts by unpatriotic protests and dangerous hate-fueled rhetoric. I condemn any individuals associating with this brutal terrorist organization, Hamas, which has vowed to annihilate the state of Israel and kill Jews. Pro-Hamas graffiti and rhetoric is abhorrent and we must not tolerate in our nation. I condemn the burning of the American flag. That flag is a symbol of our highest ideals as a nation and represents the promise of America. It should never be desecrated in that way. I support the right to peacefully protest, but let's be clear, anti-Semitism, hate, and violence have no place in our nation. What was missing from that statement was any condemnation of the state of Israel murdering 186,000 Palestinians. You know, any congressmen, all the people that voted to fund this genocide, the bombs that my tax dollars are being paid to, and the political cover we're giving to terrorists like Benjamin Netanyahu, who was not arrested the minute he landed on American soil. Not a single thing from Harris. And that's what drives me nuts, that, oh, someone burned the flag, which is your First Amendment right. You can burn the flag. That's the great thing about America. You have the freedom to burn the flag. That's what it's supposed to be about. But no. So yeah, and of course, and I like how she's vaguely associating there was Hamas was in this group or whatever. Anyone who says that you're Hamas, like this is like, is Hamas in the room with us now kind of shit. Like it's just insane. And I like I said, it's and saying what was it? The slogan, from the river to the sea, Palestine must be free, suddenly is now anti-Semitism to say that, you know, which is insane. Like, way to go. So, you know, I think Harris is showing us that, you know, she may snub Bibi, but she'll still fall in line. And that, you know, she'll still keep finding whatever he needs for more bombs to kill more Palestinian children, she's okay with. So, you know, one step forward, two steps back every time with the Democrats. You think they're going to do something, but and there they go. So
yeah,
wow, here we are. Disgusting, really.
You know, I did see there was that one picture of a guy with like he had a sign with something about the final solution.
I did see that too.
Israeli flag or whatever. And it's like, yeah, that's not good. But like, if you have a problem with that, talk about that. Or do we need to talk about it? Like, there's one guy who sucks showed up today. Is like, what are we doing? Like,
I mean, you're right. I mean, if you go to any of these movements, there's always like these weird people on the fringes.
We know someone,
but it's also the fact is like, all like these major protest organizations have actually condemned anti-Semitism. They have like principled positions on this. They don't conflate Jews with Israel.
Right.
And if, you know, I remember the Occupy, we had the weird Ron Paul people there and everything. They didn't define the movement. It's one thing. It's like, if it's the Canadian truckers where it's just a bunch of freaking Nazis and like AstroTurf, they're running it. They're organizing it. It's not like that. They're just like the people on the fringes, like, hey, take us seriously because, you know, we hate the Jews too and stuff from the outside. No.
Right. And this person wasn't with any group. He looks like an individual. Also, I'm not saying, like, I don't want to sound Alex Jonesy, but like any right winger or someone from any pros really the guy was wearing a mask and put it up too, because really you're gonna put a sign up like, number one, if I saw that guy, I'd slap the shit out of that guy for doing that. Like, no, that's Nazi shit you're saying, dude. No, that's not welcome here. No, you're not putting a slogan, a final solution. Because a white supremacist Nazi would put that up. I consider that the same thing. If you use final solution, we know what you're saying. So no, that guy just showed up wearing a mask. You know, I don't know. That something just seems weird that this guy would show up saying stuff like that. I don't know. Can't prove it, but it's weird because thousands of other people were brutalized by the police that way, who showed up and pepper sprayed and attacked people who were protesting. Like, that's what they don't want you to know what went on at that protest. Jill Stein was at that. She gave a very good speech at that. You know, remember, that's all they want you to know is that. And also as an answer, good job to them of organizing this big protest. I don't know how many people showed up. I think thousands came, but yeah, the real criminal was speaking to Congress. That's the man who has blood on his hands, who's killing children. We're talking about beheaded babies. We've all probably, unfortunately, seen a lot of dead babies in incubators who are Palestinian. Like, I mean, the fact that they're complaining about an American flag got burned and this guy's burning children alive.
There was also
I'm seriously
a Liberty Bell that had graffiti on it. You know, anti-Israel, anti-US. And I saw someone on Twitter. My heart breaks. First of all, it's actually not the original Liberty Bell. It's a replica.
Philadelphia.
And it's like
The one
you
in
said,
Philly's not the original either.
you don't even care about like the tens of thousands of people who've been murdered by the Israeli government being armed by the U.S. to the teeth.
Yeah.
Like you care about a freaking bell.
Right.
Yeah. Then the way I put it, and this is like sort of the thinking that got me actually investigating socialism and you know, rather than being like, okay, I've been told it's bad, but like, you know, like you'll hear condemnations of, you know, Stalin and Mao. And like, I know those aren't like our favorite guys here, but like from the US government and from the US media and culture in general. And, you know, you think you go a lot of, you know, most of your life thinking like, oh, they're saying that because those dudes were bad, like they did bad things and that's why. And then you realize like, no, our country hates them because they offered an alternative. Right. Because whatever else they did, the Soviet Union and China have presented possible alternatives to the capitalist global order. So that's what I tell people is like, they don't hate Stalin because he was bad. They hate him because of this. Right. So that's the thing with these fucking protests too. It's like, okay, no, they're not mad because 4 anti-Semites showed up in 10 months. It's because of what the protest is about. And it sounds simple, it sounds stupid, but like that's, you know, for people who are kind of stuck in the you know, like maybe looking at people like us and going like, I don't understand what you guys are on about. That's where I would start.
Right. I mean, it's a version of history that we're taught where we know the crimes of others quite well, but our crimes are not really discussed, or maybe they're glossed over. Like you see in all the textbooks in like Florida and Texas, where the Confederacy is like they say Jefferson Davis, the head of the presidency, the slaver president, was a civil rights advocate. Oh, the Trail of Tears doesn't get mentioned. The genocide of Native Americans, it's maybe a little paragraph towards the end or whatever. Manifest Destiny is the other thing. So no, it's right. We need to focus on other people doing bad things. And yeah, Stalin and Mao did some pretty stupid stuff. Bad stuff. And we're Trotskyists. We're not big fans of those people. You know, Chinese Revolution is good, by the way, you know. Made some mistakes along the way, but it was good. Where the CCP is now, that's a different conversation. And what we're going on here and trying to say that, like, I condemn any individuals associating with the brutal terrorist organization Hamas. Are you going to condemn any individuals associating with the brutal terrorist organization known as the Israeli Occupation Forces, Kamala? Are you going to talk about them? The war crimes that have been going on. They have snipers shooting toddlers now. Yeah. That came out a couple days ago. They have a sniper. He was on, I think, Meet the Press or one of those shows. He goes, I have photos. This is a sniper perfectly hitting like babies. Like that's the disgusting thing. And not a single thing. And anywhere in that statement did Kamala Harris say a single word condemning the terrorism they've inflicted on the people of Palestine. 186,000 people, 14,000 children of that. And these are all estimates because all the hospitals got blown up and they don't count them. So they can't count the dead anymore. But that was just a conservative estimate, I think, by the Lancet. But
it's like there's no one left to count the dead.
Yeah.
So like we have our best guess, which is probably close to 200,000 people dead.
Yeah. At least.
It's complete and utter lunacy.
Yeah. And I mean, I wonder.
But it's fine though. Kamala called for a ceasefire once.
Yeah, that was it. You know, the bare minimum. But you know, say she wins the election, she doesn't take power till January. So that leads how many months? You know, that more killings will go on in that whole time. How many more shipments of arms is Genocide Joe going to send as well? I mean, that's a long time for anything to happen. But wow.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Just another thing too is like Hamas has accepted ceasefire deals.
Yeah.
Like they've like some of the more ludicrous ceasefire deals, including the ones that's like we can ceasefire, but Israel continues to bomb everything.
Right.
And Hamas is like, okay, fine, and they're like, no. I can't believe Hamas rejected this. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah. Also, the thing is, like, you know, I don't know about you guys. Last time I've checked, I've had no contact with Hamas. I don't know anyone who knows anyone in Hamas.
No.
Meanwhile, the fucking like half the population of Israel seems to have dual citizenship with the US or places in Europe. And it's like they come back here and and fucking spray that like skunk shit in people's faces.
Right.
And, Columbia University just looks the other way. Or they'll come in and, you've got these like 28-year-old, like former IDF soldiers that come in and beat the shit out of the student encampments.
Yeah.
And it's like, these
UC
are
Berkeley.
kids, like these are 19-year-olds.
Yeah, they were paid. Like, there are receipts that shows like they were hired to like, come
basically Frycorps.
Brutalize these kids, and the police did absolutely nothing about it.
Right. I think there was an 18-year-old kid from Beverly Hills who came down. I forget his name, but there was a video. CNN did that. I think did we cover it? It was some great journalism where the 18-year-old kid went around. He had a mask on, and he found a metal pipe. It was like hitting them and attacking people for like an hour. Nothing happened. They got his face, and his mother then like confirmed, "Oh yeah, that's my son up there with the metal pipe hitting protesters and stuff." And they said, "Well, no." And also, what did she say? That he's going to join the IDF next year. Yeah. Like that's. I mean, literally, this is the Free Corps. These are the precursor to the fascist Nazis. Like, yeah, and the police just look the other way, even though they're not too far off. Like, that's what they're there to do. So, oh my God.
Meanwhile, actual Nazis continue to march out in the open, completely unimpeded, like literally waving flags with swastikas on them.
Right. And weirdly enough, no statements from any Republican speaking out. I mean, they were very quick to point out, oh, look, there's someone said Israel is a terrorist state. Anti-Semitism. Okay, you can say that. But what happens when literal Nazis are marching in the street? Yeah. Not a peep.
What happened to, where's the condemnation against people that were marching in Charlottesville? They're saying Jews will not replace us.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Fine people on both sides. That's Trump, but.
Or when ass clowns like Jackson Hinkle and Alex Jones talk about how the world is run by Trotskyists.
Yep, right. Oh, God. So
that's more subtle and less relevant. Thankfully, no one cares about them except us because we're brain poison sickos.
That's it.
Is that all? Is that all we've got?
I think that's it. Well, that's it for that. I think for this point, I think it's just terrible. But we have another thing we can talk about next.
Yeah,
lighter note. I hope.
Okay. So, folks,
let's have some fun.
All right, no more genocide. All right. Well, I mean, the genocide's still there, folks, but we're gonna lighten it up a little bit because I don't know. Now, how many of you like the circus? You guys love circuses? I like seeing a circus. I know the animals are kind of tortured, but circuses are great. A new clown show has rolled into the American political scene. Doug, maybe you're kind of the expert, right? You've been following.
I haven't followed it like super, super closely, but I can give you enough. So basically, this goes back to about a month ago when the Communist Party USA, they had their 32nd convention. And basically there were a bunch of purges and expulsions of people who had opposed some resolution or who opposed their support for the Democrats. And a lot of them, or a fair amount of them, have reconstituted as the American Communist Party. Now, the name shouldn't fool you because that's the only thing communist about this organization. So among the founders are basically Haas from Infrared, so an abject fascist moron. Jackson Hinkle, a grifting asshole. And the people from Midwest Marx, who are a bunch of social conservative idiots. And obviously, they're all guys, and they formed the American Communist Party. And it's been like less than a week, and I'm amazed at all that they've accomplished. It's really amazing. So first of all, they have their founding document, which reads like a fourth grader who was trying to imitate the Declaration of Independence, which was funny. I think there might have been a Latin phrase in there to make it seem like they were somewhat intelligent.
E pluribus unum or something.
Also, on that document, they list like Haas and etc. sign it, like they're John Hancock, etc. But also, this is even better. They list a bunch of locals from the Communist Party who signed it. And it turns out there's something like 20 or something of them, maybe close to 30. I forget the exact number. And it turns out most of those signatures are forgeries because those locals have like disavowed it on social media.
Yep.
Which is impressive. And so they've done that. The other thing that they've done is since they're brain dead Neanderthals, they don't actually have any like creative people there. So they can't do art and propaganda like other groups. So it's all just AI stuff. Or in one case, it's actually screenshots from a Halo 3 trailer for their propaganda. And also, in their first actual activity, this is the last point I will make, is a lot of people have been making fun of them on Twitter. Good. So their legal department has sent out cease and desist letters. Oh. Now, first of all, it's like, I think it would actually be a lawyer that would actually have to sign them, not a legal department.
Probably.
And as far as I know, the ACP is not actually a formalized organization.
No.
So it's like, what's going on there? And there might be some question about whether these people are fed plants or something. And at this point, I'm not going to put it past them. I really think it's a possibility. But I think in less than a week that they have proven themselves one of the worst communist parties in American history. And I just want to give it up for Haas. I mean, this is a real treat. Take a bow, man. Take a bow. You're the executive chairman. Look at what you've accomplished.
I mean, I'm sure the whole party voted on that. All 6 of them. That's great.
Did you see Haas's signature on the document? It looked
I haven't seen the story. They really have a real.
They really have a document. You can go on Twitter and it's right there, all on their page. God, there is actually a website. And
really?
Crap! I almost forgot one thing. They're running a Ponzi scheme.
Oh, they have crypto. They have some crypto.
They have crypto, and basically they want you to give them money over to them. And yeah, it's basically a big Ponzi scheme.
Oh,
okay. So from what I've seen, first off, Haas's signature is literally just capital H, capital A, capital Z.
What?
It's awesome. I'll post it in the chat.
Yeah, please post it because I need a
looks
good laugh.
It looks like a 12.
Okay.
It looks like a 9-year-old like did that signature for one. Very first one on the far top left.
Oh my God, he just wrote Haas. He didn't even do his last name. Okay, 1, 2.
Yeah, signed by Rev Lascaris. Let's see, Christopher Halali, who is
he's in the Party of Communist USA, which was an earlier split from the CPUSA.
Oh yeah, damn. They almost had something going. Eddie Liger Smith. Oof, man.
He's the wrestling coach in Midwestern Marks who's gotten too many hits to the head.
Yeah.
So Christopher Halali is he represented this new party on Russia Today, their first media appearance. A little bit about him. Okay. He was awarded the German Armed Forces badge. Comes from a shout out to Johnny Socialism and Dr. Uncula on Twitter for doing a lot of the legwork and internet sleuthing on these guys because it's fucking hilarious and you guys did amazing work, so good job. Shout out to those guys. Let's see, so Halali was awarded the German Armed Forces badge for military proficiency in gold and graduated from the United States Army Airborne School. He supposedly resigned as a conscientious objector and then immediately joined up as a CIA war tourist in Syria. He is the source of the second Epstein Black Book, which supposedly bought it on eBay for $450 from someone who allegedly found it on the sidewalk in the 90s. And he is known for, among other things, get this, having stolen thousands of dollars from the IWW before abandoning his wife and child to go play a war tourist in Rojava. He embezzled $4,500 from the IWW, and he's also a deadbeat dad, and he will not pay child support.
So he is the finest character of the party. Clearly, it sounds like he sounds like a decent man amongst those wackos. But what the hell?
Totally fine guy. So he is. He represents the American Communist Party on Russia Today.
Wow.
Some other fun stuff. Congrats, by the way, to the ACP. They garnered the endorsement from President Xi Jinping, the Chinese president. Did you guys see this? I cannot
find a single news source anywhere.
Hey, don't slander them. They'll send a cease and desist letter to you.
Oh, all right. But
from their legal department.
Now, I can't find any source for this at all. There is nothing anywhere.
I have a source for you. It's from Midwestern Mark's Twitter. It's literally just a JPEG with some white text on black background. And it says, really? American Communist Party launches amid controversy. The ACP was officially launched, marking a significant development in American politics. The party aims to represent the interests of the working class and has garnered support from various individuals and groups, including international figures like Chinese President Xi Jinping. The launch has sparked debate and opposition, with some questioning its legality and ideological alignment. Supporters see it as a new era for American communism and a means to liberate the working class, while critics express concerns about the party's goals and alignment. This article is fake. It is completely made up.
Well, I did you see? I have a news source that says it's real. Now I have this piece of paper. I found this also on a sidewalk, bought on eBay for $3,000, and it's real. It's right. It's in reverse. But who are they trying to bring? And all these parties, I want to feel like, you know, that article we were talking last week about the CPUSA and the purges and everything. I feel like those are all the parties that signed a different letter. Every local that was like upset with what was going, like they were resisting.
I mean, there seems to be like a mix. So what happened was in the last 4 or 5 years, the CPUSA has had an influx of members. Some of them are people just looking, you know, they're interested in communism and Marxism. Okay, whatever. Some of them are also like these entryists from these patsy infrared groups. So I don't know like who exactly like was expelled. It looks, I mean, I think a fair number of them were these infrared people because they have been expelling them for the last few years at least, which, you know, the CPUSA are crappy liberals. Right. And you know, to their credit, they don't want to be associated with Nazis, but you know, it's a very low bar with them. So it looks like a lot of the infrared people just coalesce. I don't know, like the percentages of the people at the convention who are what, or, you know, with each faction or whatever. I have looked at some of the Haas's streams. Yeah, I know. Shoot me.
Oh, God.
And he's actually said that they, and I, again, take this with a huge grain of salt. He says that they still have members in the CPUSA. Even now, after these expulsions, they want to like still take it over. I doubt it. Because he's also got his moronic scheme to take over the CPUSA and then in 2036 to take over the country. This is like super villain, like comic book stuff, but not well written.
Right. Like, do they have, like, you know, I mean, Aaron, I know you and the Marxist Workers Group were, formed a group and a party, and that took a very long time. You had to go through documents. You had to go everything democratically to form your group.
Yeah.
You know,
it's also been at least 2 years now of debates and discussions over what our party line is. And
right.
We're still not completely in agreement with on a lot of issues, like this,
right.
You know, because we are a democratic group, and you know, debates take time. And
or if you're an actual group, might be, and even another thing too, because you actually had a real group that does real stuff like organizing on the ground. You set up a protest. These guys, I've never seen that. They don't go to protests or anything.
No,
like
Haas is on record saying "fuck unions" and stuff like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's like, assuming they are actually separate from being a Ponzi scheme, which is a big if.
Yeah.
Assuming that, it's like they're not democratic. Like Haas is like, if you watch his streams, he's coming off like he's like a mini Chairman Mao or something,
right?
Just without any of actual achievements to his credit,
or anything at all. Like,
yeah, and it's like it's gonna be it's basically a wannabe cult. If you talk to or see these people post on Twitter or something, they are seriously confused and deluded people, and that's the nicest thing you could say about them,
right?
Aside from being utter morons and patsies.
I think wannabe cult is a great example because that's not even a real cult.
No, I mean, Black Hammer had better, well thought out ideas in this group. Like,
more money too.
Yeah, I know. Cults are usually well funded and everything, but they just, I mean, are they going to run candidates? Do they have a stance on labor? Like, do they have any statements other than just like, we got kicked out?
Release no party program.
Right. Which is pretty standard if you're a Leninist of any stripe. You'd have a party program. This is what we stand for. Statement of principles. Anything? No.
I mean, I think they're going to try basically doing a DSA, except it's just going to be with the Republicans. So there will be the RSA.
Yeah, right. My God.
Oh, cool. Have fun with that. So some of their some of the CPUSA social media groups got hijacked by ex-members, the Communist Party of Colorado. They expelled an ex-member who had access to their social media. They changed the logo to the ACP logo. So yeah, from what I can tell, it's like 1 or 2 people from like every chapter have been expelled because they were found out to be like these infrared incel type folks, and they're claiming like whole chapters of the CPUSA split, and in the wake of the split formed the American Communist Party. The image is, the picture they use is like it's 10 guys on a golf course with Haas and Eddie in the middle here. Eddie, to my surprise, is actually the shortest of the bunch.
Oh.
I expected him to be taller, to be honest.
Yeah.
I expected Haas to be wearing platform shoes, so yeah. I was disappointed too.
Yeah, but like, I mean, I think they're banking on very unknowledged, unwell-read people to think they're an actual party. You know, they picked a letterhead, and that's all they've seemed to do, and write some wordy thing that I really think was stolen from somebody else. Forge a bunch of names and clubs that are on there. You only had 10 people sign it.
The Ponzi scheme, don't forget.
Yeah, and how did you all manage to meet? Like I said, it's tough for leftists, to like meet up, but why isn't every branch like endorse it? It just seems like they put names on. Wouldn't the branch leadership put their names on? Wouldn't it be more than 10 people? This doesn't seem like this doesn't.
I mean, bullshit. Assuming I don't see this thing lasting, but if it does, and again, that's a big thing because there's no way Haas can successfully lead anything. He's an idiot. And the route I see them going is basically, and this is the best case scenario for them, they would basically end up like the Lyndon LaRouche groups who would just physically attack leftists.
Yeah, that's it.
That's what they do.
But
yeah, that's ultimately like, yeah, exactly. Like that's the root of this. A lot of this is just neo LaRoucheites. So interesting thing about the crypto is that they are sending the cease and desist about if you say the crypto is associated with them. Because the crypto coin came out, and because they got such backlash against the founding of this party and everyone made fun of them, and the fact that it turned into this like massive Ponzi scheme, they've distanced themselves from the crypto, and they will send you threatening letters from their legal team. If you say,
how do I get a threatening letter, please? I want to meet their lawyer. This is good.
Now, first of all, like
allegedly, okay, we can play. I can play that game too.
There might actually be like law students at least in them, like the one guy who invited Haas to Emory, like Jack Grayson or something. I forget his exact name. I think he's a legal student. There might be someone else who is either a legal student or a lawyer, but also I imagine, and like if you actually send a cease and desist letter, wouldn't it actually be signed by your lawyer?
Yeah,
not like an amorphous legal department.
Yeah, a lawyer.
Who the hell are you actually responding to?
A lawyer in a law firm representing the ACP.
I think you have to be licensed to practice law. So you're a law student who doesn't have a license. I'm a lawyer.
Like they could probably draft it. I don't doubt it. But it also looked. I think I saw some Twitter posts like it looked like some kind of AI like copy paste.
Right. Okay. So the ACP coin was launched. I can't find the source that I saw on this, but I do remember seeing, again, allegedly about $110,000 was floated to. Because like when you launch a some kind of cryptocurrency, there has to be US dollars backing it, otherwise it's worthless. Because crypto isn't an actual currency; it is a speculative asset. It's not a real thing.
Can I trade it in for money? Yeah, I know.
Yes,
I have Pogs. My Pogs worth money.
The whole point of
only launching.
The whole point of launching a crypto, I think Hulk Hogan did this, and someone else, was it Drake? They launched their own crypto. A bunch of morons buy into it, and then they dump it immediately, saying, "Hey, I was hacked. That was not me." Hulk Hogan did this not too long ago, and it was a pump and dump scheme. And so it's a combination of like a Ponzi and pyramid scheme, right? You get a bunch of morons to buy your coin, and then the value is high, and then you sell. And then you just dump this worthless shit on them, and you basically stolen their money. And so that's what the ACP coin is. They've claimed that they are associated with the ACP. Folks like Eddie have denied it. They are trying to distance themselves from the ACP. However, a lot of internet sleuths and guys who know coding, they have looked into the ACP website. Is on the same it's on the same blockchain network and crypto API as the coin. So like there's you can't hide this. There is no hiding this. Like they are completely linked to each other.
So there is a paper trail.
Oh, absolutely. And they found it within minutes. It took. Meanwhile,
They
spent more time on this crypto than their platform. Way to go, comrades. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Also,
time to set that stuff up.
The ACP Twitter account, the official one, garnered over 23,000 followers in the first 48 hours of its launch.
Oh boy, that's where all the money went into buying bots to like their stuff. Are you kidding me?
You can look up these followers, and these followers have no posts, and they have 0 followers themselves.
Right.
It's bots. It's just bots. There's literally video of Jackson Hinkle and someone else. Let's see. Jackson Hinkle and Midwestern Marks, they rely on a bot network programmed by something called Neat Feet of the wait for it, the Schiller Institute.
Oh Christ, that's the LaRouche group.
Really? We got our own expert Doug on it. Yeah. Wow.
Looking forward to our new ACP leaders. I have zero doubt that they will lead the working class to victory over capitalism.
Yeah, sure as they have like any statements on current events, the war on God. Like usually,
I look forward to what the worst party in a communist party in American history does next.
Yes,
I think that they're going to top themselves. I really do.
Who knows? So I mean, I don't know what's going to happen first. They actually make a real party, or Harris arrests Benjamin Netanyahu. I don't know what's going to happen first, but we'll see. We'll be waiting for either one of these things to actually happen. We'll sooner see BB in chains than this party actually take off.
Who's more likely to start a socialist revolution? Kamala Harris or
Harris? Yeah, I'd say there's a better chance because at least she's not pretending to be anything what she is. These guys are. Okay, so
really quick, I want to actually share something because it just broke and it's bizarre. Okay, so apparently, is it Donald Trump Jr. Interviewed JD Vance, and the internet
loved him. Yeah.
Dubbed it resting heart rate of 346. Like it's
holy shit.
It's beyond bizarre. And I'm gonna put it in the chat. And Aaron, if you could bring it up, because you have to see it to believe it, because it's like they also said it's as if cocaine itself interviewed JD Vance, and I'm just like, what in the world?
Oh God, yes, yeah, okay.
Yeah, Don Jr. is like he's got no poker face about his cocaine usage.
No.
Like when he's
like, how is this guy not dead? Oh my God.
Yeah. Oh, dang nabbit ad blocker thing. But I'll just say this way, getting that working. I mean, so behind the scenes, the Donnie's two dumbass kids, they pushed hard to get him to be the VP. Trump was feeling cocky, I think, and they're like, we're going to put this guy on. They were going to, was it Doug Newsom, the guy that made Great Plains, the boring as hell, like governor of North Dakota, whatever. A nice, easy, safe pick. But the cokehead here and his other brother, we're like, no, get JD Vance. This guy's a badass, because I think he said I wouldn't have certified the election. They wanted someone. They thought we're gonna go against Biden, we're gonna win. Now they're stuck with this idiot. So all right, let's see this Coke Field interview.
Fucking Crab and Goyle here.
Yeah. All right. Let's see the resting heart rate of 342. All right.
Sorry, folks. Give me 1 sec.
Okay. But boy, oh boy. I can't believe this is, the Mountain, everyone knows about the Mountain Dew thing. Zero charisma at all from JD Vance at all. He's laughing. I mean, like, he was trying to make a joke, you could hear like coughing in the background and shit. Like, this is it. I wonder if Trump will actually dump him. That I think there might be a chance, because JD Vance is just, oh yeah, that's right, Triggered. That's the name of his book. Okay, let's see.
Some of them are like, we don't even want white women. Like, it doesn't, like, we need to check like 3 or 4 boxes so you can end up in, like, if you're like, a trans communist, this, that, and the other, like, you too can be the CEO of a Fortune 500 company with no experience whatsoever. He's actually spent real time with them. Like, and he's sort of, I would say he's the blue collar billionaire. And 15 years ago when I said it, people used to shit all over me. Like, what are you talking about? I'm like, you don't understand. And now they understand. The borders are, wrote the article. It wasn't even like it was the same publication. It was the same journalist. I'm like, this you? Like, because to literally save democracy, because it's literally at risk, JD. That's why I keep notion that, democracy is all.
And this is not sped up. This is that's the actual that's how it goes.
Did we slow it down?
Make it sound normal. Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, like I feel like you have to put it on like half speed in order to figure out everything that he said the first time.
Oh my god, there's still like another minute of this shit. Oh
Yeah.
god, all right. Let's. I want to see how bad does it get? Let's see.
Things, but if the elite, meaning Barack Obama, the Clintons, a couple billionaire donors, be like, okay, this isn't working. We're going to take everything we gave you. We didn't give you any other options. We threw RFK off the ticket.
Yep.
We basically tried to push anyone else from happening. So we gave you your only choice. You actually then chose that person, and now America is not there. Now they're pretending, no, she's a moderate. They did the same thing with Joe Biden. He's going to be so moderate. He's so moderate. Look, he's moderate.
Yeah.
The policies were not. I hate to say it, but like literally, no. But it's like me, a couple other people that we're friends with that are like, hey guys, here are the facts, but you're not going to get that. Honestly, you may not get that on. I don't know.
Oh my god!
This guy hasn't blinked yet.
So I don't know. Like, is this an interview? Because he's doing all the talking and
this reminds me of
what the fuck.
This reminds me of that video last week or the week before where I'm chipping. You're chipping out. Yeah, I'm chipping out. What are you gonna do?
Also, did he try to say that they tried to push RFK off the ticket?
I'm a mongoloid.
I am a mongoloid. No, that's not it.
Way more racist than you.
Way more racist.
Yeah. He has some opinions on the races. But like Trump tried to buy off RFK. Actually, it's the other way around. He was trying to get, because he knows he's stealing votes from him. Like, that's insane. I am legitimately surprised. He is coked up. And they actually let this go to press too. Dude, that dude's on coke. Or he's got some adrenochrome that he just picked from a kid.
Oh my God. How he has not had a heart attack yet.
Wow.
I'll never know.
Wow, you can't be doing that much coke at his age, man. I'm just saying,
There's no way. Oh my God.
This isn't 2002 anymore. You're not doing key bumps of Adderall in a bathroom anymore, buddy. You got to switch to like baking soda or something. Like cut it with some baking soda. Calm down.
I do just want to add one thing. So
he's having.
Yeah, I'll die, man. I can't. That's insane.
He was saying that thing that a lot of them have been saying now, which is like, oh, they did a coup. They
oh my God, this new line.
But they're like, yeah, and it's like
that's not how coups work. Yeah,
right. But it's like, you guys know that like the vice president is there to take over if the president dies. You know that, right? Like,
right.
What do you think happens? Oh yeah, remember when Ford did a coup on Nixon? Like,
yeah. He, and also it's a nomination. He withdrew. That's not a coup. It's one thing if they had a gun to his head. They're like, like when they did to Chavez in Venezuela. Like, the military showed up. The CIA helped orchestrate it. That's a coup. That is a coup. Biden finally realizing, I'm going to lose, and this is it. I actually have, because
and that's all they have. All they have is scare language. None of it is actually real.
And no one cares.
Didn't your people storm the fucking Capitol? What are you talking about a coup for?
Yeah, because you were upset that you
I'm
lost the
telling you.
election.
Oh no, that was just a couple of good old boys. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it was just a tour, but oh my God. So
just
thank you.
A tour. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's like Gilligan's Island, just a 3-hour tour.
Okay, so let me just do this thing. So now let me just plug. We have a Facebook page. If you want to follow us there, we update it like once or twice a week. But it is facebook.com/Left Opposition Podcast. We have a Patreon, Left Opposition Podcast. Thank you. We got our first donor. We still have slots open for the $10,000 month slot. If you do want to donate $10,000 a month, it's been maxed out. We're not taking any more, actually. We are done. So we're just going to open up for the $5 a month people. Yep. Thank you. We need a few lower ones to make it look like we're grassrootsy, but thank you. We love you.
We don't take crypto. I don't know how that works.
We'll take all the ACP crypto you want, and we'll throw it in a virtual toilet if we can find it. Because that's how worthless it is. I just want to plug also that the Socialist Party USA conference is coming up this week. Check out the website, socialistorganizing.org. I'll be there Saturday night and Sunday morning, so check that out. And also, Doug, did you write a book? Do you want to do anything about a book?
Yeah, so I wrote The New Reformism and the Revival of Karl Kautsky, The Renegade's Revenge from Routledge Books. Ask your library to get a copy, and hopefully next year it'll be out in paperback.
Yeah, there we go. There we are.
Yeah.
Good.
Thank you.
We're good. And also, if you don't have the funds for that right now, Doug, any other books you might have written that could be out there? They can add it to their bookcase.
Yeah, I have a biography of Louis Auguste Blanqui called Communist Insurgent, a biography of Michael Harrington called A Failure of Vision, and another hardcover that unfortunately is not out in paperback yet called Stalinism and the Dialectics of Saturn.
Yeah, that book is fucking great, dude. By the way, that's I can't pick favorites so far. That's the
you can pick
Stalinism
favorites.
one.
I pick them.
Okay, fine. The fucking Stalin book's great, man. I love that shit. Oh my god, thank you. Very good one. So please, you got to read them all of them. Otherwise, we'll drop you from the $10,000 a month donation club.
You're a fake fan.
All right, there we go. So, all right. Thank you for listening. This has been a great time. Now, for some of you who are streaming this on the Twitch platform, Aaron, do you have anything coming up?
Okay, after we're done this recording of our podcast, I will be streaming the video game Mr. President, in which you are a Secret Service agent and you have to dive in front of oncoming bullets to protect President Ronald Rump.
That is amazing.
I'm sticking around for this. So yeah, all right. So we can cut the recording of the podcast and get to the stream. If people want to follow you on, how do they follow you on the Twitch platform?
Twitch.tv/Marxist Archaeologists. Come find me there. You can come find me on Twitter as well. I'm at I just hit 900 followers on Twitter. So forward to 1,000 and then on to revolution.
There we go. That's it, folks. If you don't get 100 people, the ACP takes over, and we can't have that. All right, we have to plant our red flag into the ground so those weirdos don't.
None of my followers are bots, as far as I'm unlike the ACP. I've never once paid for any followers.
All right. Well, I'll talk to the Schiller Institute, see what we can do about that. All right, we'll get you those things. We'll get you 22,000 in no time. That's all you need. But all right, good night, everyone. If you're following us, we'll see you soon. All right.
Just think of what we've created, though. We have the Postal Workers Union, the United Workers Union. 7 major labor unions are now standing with this movement. That means a change has come. This is no longer the labor movement of George Meany when people said it was the AFL, CIA. We're going to have a new day in labor where the labor movement, workers, stand